one of Canada's oldest churches. It stands right in the heart and hustle of downtown Toronto, a beautiful continuing witness to the presence of God in the landscape of a metropolitan city. But it's more than a building. Before this church was built, it was a community. For hundreds of years, people gathered together for worship, prayer, and service. They were a people formed in the practices of Jesus. Today, we live in a moment where many churches like this are emptied out or sold off. It's a time in the West that many are describing as a secular age, a time when people are deconstructing their faith, asking important questions about forms of faith that don't ring true to Jesus. Trouble is, so many no longer have a structure on which to reconstruct or renew their faith after they've deconstructed. Several years ago, when I pastored the people of this church, this sanctuary was renovated. The whole sanctuary was filled floor to rafters with scaffolding as we deconstructed this space. We pulled out massive stained glass windows that needed restoration, dug up weak foundations, ripped up flooring, reconfigured walls, redesigned lighting and acoustic, repositioned pews. It was messy. But we still had a framework. The church is formed in the shape of a cross. We had the basic architecture that allowed for the reconstruction, for the renewal of this space. A renewed faith, fit for life in today's world, often involves some deconstruction, asking important questions, sifting out the rod, keeping what's precious. But if all you end up with is a scrapyard of dismantled pieces, what good is that? Deconstructing with no platform for reconstruction, no pattern to renew a life of devotion and obedience to Jesus, no structure to help you live well and enjoy God, that is empty. It's useless. One of the gifts of the Christian faith is an architecture of spiritual formation, a pattern for growing, renewing, reconstructing a living faith today. Whether you're deconstructing your faith or just beginning to build a life of following Jesus, whether you love Jesus but find your heart so often distracted and really discipled by the world around us, or whether you're simply wanting to more faithfully, meaningfully live out and grow your faith in Jesus, the path to life for all of us is one that requires a rhythm of habit, the way in which we might live a lively faith of substance and meaning. It's found in a pattern of practice. There's a name for that pattern or structure in which a good faith takes shape. It's an ancient tool called a rule of life. A rule of life is the church's formation architecture for shaping resilient faith in everyday Christians. A rule of life is how we learn the way of Jesus. In Matthew 11, Jesus gives the invitation of a lifetime. He says, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you, learn from me, for I'm gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light." To everyone who is weary or weighed down by life, everyone who's burdened or burned out by bad religion, the offer from Jesus is, come, learn from me, live in communion with me, learn my way, the unforced rhythms of grace. That is what we do at the Habitus community. We are a community of Christians learning from Jesus by living out a common rule of life, encouraging one another and learning together how to arrange our everyday lives around the practices of Jesus. We're about letting Jesus the carpenter, Jesus the craftsman and builder, to make something true and good and beautiful of our lives. I hope you might join Habitus Community.